tease each other. He was, after I gave birth, he was like, oh my gosh, if I lost you and I, went to the park with our 3 kids, I mean, think of the ladies I can. This is a horrible thing to say.
I mean, honestly, the way that I get into a character is through their style. So it was more about who Lily is that was so fascinating to me.
Hey there, lovelies. Back with another fiery segment of Hollywood Meltdown Central. Grab your favorite cup because trust me, the tea we're going to spill is hotter than molten lava on the 4th of July. If you've been following the Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni fiasco, or is it Justin Baldoni versus Ryan Reynolds? Or maybe it's Blake versus her own suspected hidden desires? Honestly, it depends on whatever corner of the internet you're hiding in. This saga has more angles than a geometry textbook, but let's just say the meltdown is real, the stakes are huge, and practically everyone's reputation is teetering on the edge. But hold up before we delve headlong into this whirling jumble of lawsuits, supposed crushes, and maybe furious spouses. Do me a fast favor. Smash that like button and hit subscribe to keep this channel alive because, honey, your clicks are the oxygen I breathe. All right, seatbelts fastened, refreshments at the ready. Let's break down how a once innocent movie idea morphed into a behind-the-scenes meltdown with scandalous texts, hush-hush footage, and a gag order that might seal everyone's lips. This is Tinseltown, guys, and the turmoil is wilder than a reality. Show crossover. Let's start at the top. Blake Lively, the queen of sarcastic comedy timing, stunning red carpet looks, and that golden aura that's half goddess, half soccer mom, is recognized for her wit, her flawless hair, and of course her power couple status with Ryan Reynolds, a man so good at humorous roast, it's basically an Olympic sport. But now, she's got folks spitting out their lattes with a new rumor. Could she have had a thing for her co-star Justin Baldoni? And is that thing the underlying reason behind her dramatic lawsuit claiming he harassed her? Because yes, it looks like the entire Justin harassed me. Oh my God, I must go to court storyline might be overshadowed by a far juicier tale, that of a star wanting something she couldn't have and turning vengeful after rejection, or at least, that's the rumor swirling in certain corners of the internet. Add to it the likelihood that her darling hubby Ryan discovered these purported feelings and decided to wage war on poor Justin to preserve his marriage bliss. Talk about a Hollywood chessboard.
Read it, because I was looking for movies that could be commercial and speak to the human experience. And
were you reading romance novels?
And I had never read a romance novel.
Never?
And she said, just trust me, read it. So I read it, and by the end of the book, I couldn't even read the text on the page because I was crying so much. My wife was in bed next to me, and she's, got snot coming out of my nose.
By all accounts, he was the advocate who initially bought up the rights to Colleen Hoover's It Ends With Us, wanting to develop a film targeting DV concerns. He seemed like a stand-up, conscientious, easygoing partner in artistic crime. Then, somewhere down the line, Blake swoops in, headline whirl, and next thing we know, Justin's battling claims of improvisation, personal scenes without a heads up. But here's the kicker. According to Justin's team, they've obtained texts, phone logs, and behind-the-scenes footage that paint a dramatically different picture. One where Blake was the orchestrator of these steamy episodes, bypassing official intimacy coordinators and maybe catching some true feelings. Justin inside thinks he's the victim in all this, especially because he claims to have rebuffed away her claimed love overtures. If that's not enough drama for you, wait until we bring in Ryan Reynolds, presumably jealous, guarding his wife. 'Cause that's how massive blockbusters are born, right? Let's investigate the rumor that's nearly got the internet in a chokehold. Blake might have formed a strong infatuation on Justin during filming, and when it wasn't reciprocated, she had a meltdown of epic proportions. Could it be the underlying motive driving her lawsuit? Some sectors of the gossip mill undoubtedly think so. They point to key signs in Blake's approach to romance. She's known for loving romance both in real life and in film, as she said in interviews, and she's had a pattern of forging close relationships with co-stars like that time she was with Penn Badgley on Gossip Girl, and the iconic moment she hopped from one film set flick to the next, ultimately landing Ryan Reynolds. The behind-the-scenes footage Fredman, Justin's attorney, alleges that shows Blake literally choreographing every action in an intimate session down to how Justin should position his face. Usually, an intimacy coordinator would do that, but evidently, Blake insisted on becoming her own coordinator. Could it be that she got way too into these romantic moments, forgetting it's all pretend? I'm thinking SCC Ralph Redman, like, her complaint about Justin. She claims he smelled her neck or something similar out of character, but Freeman's side maintains it was a fast, funny moment, possibly after Blake apologized for a harsh spray tan smell. Another example of a scene that can have been misunderstood or embellished to advance the harassment story. Let me be extra cautious and state none of this is confirmed, and the disclaimers are flying left and right. But the rumor swirl is real, and if there's one thing Tinseltown watchers appreciate, it's a juicy tale about love unrequited.
It's a bit of a tough adjustment in our house, but it's good. I mean, I have two other daughters, so my oldest is very into the baby, but my middle child, not so much. But we're thinking of keeping her.
Does she like play with her? What does she think?
Well, she sort of like pretends to play with her. So like in the beginning, our oldest is like loving on her, and she's like very maternal, and then our middle daughter is just keeps away from her.
So how does Ryan factor in? Rumor has it that he discovered or thought that Blake was becoming too intimate with Justin. Maybe her method acting transformed into true sentiments. Or maybe a text from her phone flashed up with Justin's name in hearts. We can only imagine. But the report states Ryan frightened at the idea of losing Blake the same manner he obtained her from Scarlett Johansson, supposedly orchestrated a legal nuclear to bury Justin. Yes, it's a typical you lose them how you get them scenario. According to the rumor mill, some fans recall that Ryan was genuinely married to Scarlett Johansson when he met Blake filming Green Lantern, and the two ended up together later. So, is Ryan frightened of history repeating itself with Justin in the picture? Possibly. The report is he's focused on burning Justin's career to ash for daring to be the new danger. Real or not, it's a sizzling storyline people can't stop talking about. We can't overlook the other Meltdown star, Colleen Hoover, the acclaimed author of It Ends With Us. She was once all over Justin, praising him for capturing the essence of her DV-themed work. Then, following numerous controversies, she posted something complimenting Blake. "You're the best, so honest, so kind." The fans were not having it, especially as Fredman leaked data that would show Blake's complaint is flimsy. Suddenly, poof, Colleen's entire Instagram is gone. Reminiscent of that friend who flees the group chat when drama intensifies, she's done this before. Yes, the last time was when the film's marketing catastrophe blew up in her face. So, is this a pattern? Possibly. The question is, does she regret taking Blake's side against Justin, or is she just allergic to confrontation? We might never hear a clear answer from her because her accounts are offline. Bam, 2 million followers left in the dark. Let's highlight some crucial aspects from the initial complaint. V. Fredman's receipts. Blake stated no intimacy coordinator was accessible, leading her to feel cornered when Justin suddenly amped up scenes. Freeman's retort, Blake refused the coordinator and was practically directing the romance herself. Blake's claim, Justin called her hot on set as she wore a Bonds. Freeman's retort, he actually indicated the weather was hot, suggesting a humid setting. She misunderstood Blake's allegation. Justin smelled her neck out of character, making her uneasy. Freeman's retort, he corrected her about a tanning spray smell, which she apologized for. It was no biggie.
Always tease each other. He was, after I gave birth, he was like, oh my gosh, if I lost you and I, went to the park with our 3 kids, I mean, think of the ladies I can. This is a horrible thing to say. And he's like, I mean, I've got a long list. And I was like, oh really? Because I just have one on my list. I don't have anyone on my list.
And then it wasn't funny anymore.
No, it's so much more of a burn. He's like, wait, who? And I was like, okay, think of someone.
Right.
I'll have Newhart. I don't know.
Blake stated Justin forced talk about finishing intimately. Freeman's retort, actually, Blake instigated the entire argument about not wanting it to seem like pen on paper. It's a comic tragedy. Each side throws out contradictory information, leaving neutrals left in the crossfire. Freeman continually insists the footage will speak for itself. Meanwhile, Lively's camp is demanding he hush up so they can fight in actual court, not the court of public opinion. Because trust me, the public's opinion is on full blast in the face of Freeman's daily revelations. A noticeable chunk of fans are transferring from Team Blake to Team Justin, or at least to Team Bewilderment. The Blake Lively is a bully, manipulative, and super spoiled myth is circulating extensively. People recollect past rumors how she snatched Ryan from Scarlett, how she battled with some co-stars, how she can be dictatorial behind the scenes. Maybe it's all rumor, but it's surely taking root now. However, let's not forget that certain fans remain staunchly loyal to Blake. They believe Freeman's a whiz at spinning stories that none of his receipts disprove her perspective. And that, yes, improvised intimacy can still constitute harassment, even if the footage looks casual. One can't help but draw comparisons to other Hollywood breakdown cases, where onlookers select sides depending on the likability quality of each star. Right now, the tide is turning somewhat against Blake. One of the funnier things, Freeman believes Blake even called Ryan and Taylor her dragons, evoking Game of Thrones. She emailed Justin something like, "I'm Kesey. I have a few dragons who protect me," presumably warning Justin not to cross her. If that's real, we might need a fan artist to show Blake as Daenerys with Ryan and T Swift as her fire-breathing creatures, because that's comedic gold. But it also emphasizes the vibe that Blake sees herself as a power broker, able to invite huge people to eclipse Justin if he doesn't cooperate. Again, Freeman views this as intimidation, while Team Blake sees it as an inside joke. Maybe both. Either way, fans on social media are cackling at the Kesey delusions, suggesting that Justin's ready to get burnt by Targaryen-level aggression.
A lot of it's my real life clothes or my husband's clothes or my girlfriend Gigi's clothes. I was borrowing some.
Wait, that's kind of amazing. So you have something of Gigi's in the movie.
Yeah, it's like a wedding, like something old, something borrowed, something blue, something new.
Wait, which
except
one?
it's
Now I want to think of the scene.
Oh, I'm wearing her stuff all over it.
Oh, really?
Tons of like Bodhi, which is with the suit now that I'm wearing is Bodhi. It was meant for my husband, but I borrowed it.
His suit?
It was meant for him to wear, but it's so pretty. Look at it. You guys are not getting it in the shot.
While some suspicions abound that Ryan's silently manipulating the strings, others believe he's just supporting his wife's emotional collapse. Freeman's side argues Ryan is obviously fueling the lawsuit maybe out of jealousy, because Blake was fawning for Justin. According to that narrative, once Ryan knew Blake might slip away just like she did with him from Scarlett, he resolved to bomb Justin's career. Is that an accurate depiction? Hard to say, but it's a gripping soap opera wavy aspect the fans can't resist. Scenes from the rumor focus around Ryan discovering suspicious texts, lashing off at Justin, promising to punish him. The stuff of tabloids for sure. Back to the main event, the gag order request. Lively's lawyers filed a multi-page letter to the judge condemning Freeman's harassing words and selective leaks. They note Freeman's ongoing web campaign. Freeman, in response, labels this an attempt to stifle Justin's side so they can't tell the truth. The letter also mentions Freeman's rumored plan to build a website archiving every conversation, video, and document that quashes Blake's accusations. The Lively team paints Freeman's conduct as unethical, invoking laws that warn lawyers can't risk prejudicing an ongoing case by flooding the media. Freeman reports that his client's image and livelihood are at jeopardy, therefore he's bound to set the record straight. The judge's finding on the gag order might define how far Freeman can go in defending Justin in public. Meanwhile, the tabloids drool at the chance of more juicy revelations. Freeman also alludes to a 2024 New York Times piece that, according to them, defamed Justin so horribly he lost 3 jobs and hundreds of millions of dollars. They argue Justin's release of behind-the-scenes film is simply recovering his reputation. That's why this outburst feels complex, not just a two-person spat. Because if Justin genuinely lost opportunities over Blake's charges, Freeman's public counteroffensive might be his last-ditch effort to save a career. A vibrant side calls this a smokescreen, forgetting that Freeman might be manipulating context. We and the Teute gallery can only watch captivated. Back to Colleen for a moment, since her vanishing act is too significant to ignore. This is reminiscent of prior times when supporters slammed her for pursuing a nice marketing technique for a DV issue. She apologized and withdrawn from social media. The repetitive pattern: she hypes a project, meltdown ensues, fans rage, and Colleen ghosts. This time, the meltdown might be bigger. Therefore, her flight reflex is similarly powerful, shutting down a 2 million follower account. Some supporters perceive it as cowardly, others believe it's self-care. Either way, it's a tribute to how toxic the environment has gone. Perhaps she regrets praising Blake as the perfect human just, as Freeman's receipts undermine that immaculate portrayal. So, how does It Ends With Us move forward amid all this drama?